Hey there, welcome. Today I'm in the kitchen whipping up a bunch of easy snacks for my family. Some we'll enjoy now and a lot I'm freezing to take on our upcoming vacation. Come hang out a while I prepare everything. I'm starting out with two really healthy, super simple brownie recipes. I like to get everything out ahead of time. It just makes the process feel way less stressful than scrambling to grab things as I go. First up are some no-bake superfood brownies that are seriously so good. I honestly have to stop myself from eating the whole batch, and it's just nice to have a treat that us parents can enjoy too. It's basically, dates, nuts, seeds, and some cocoa powder blitzed in a food processor, and you can really get creative with flavors or that you really like or whatever ingredients you have on hand. For this batch, I blended 1 cup of dates with a 1/3 cup each of walnuts, pecans, and pumpkin seeds. Then I added in some flax seeds, a splash of vanilla, and 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and then about a spoonful of coconut oil that already melted in the tub. It's so hot here right now. Then blend it all together until a dough forms. I usually have to add a little bit of warm water to help it come together like you see here. I had one very excited little helper. He was just helping me press the dough into the container, and then I like to sprinkle some chopped nuts and, if I have them, dried berries on top and freeze it for an hour. We were out, but goji berries are super tasty in this too and have a high antioxidant content and are good for your vision, heart, and blood sugar, I believe. If you don't have a food processor or you're short on prep time, my son really enjoys these 3-ingredient brownies. They're not quite as good as the first recipe, but they're easy, low effort treat that is still really healthy. Just mash 3 bananas, mix in a 1/2 cup of almond butter and 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and bake in a parchment lined 8x8 dish for around 15 to 17 minutes. The original recipe says 20, but I like them a little underdone, and honestly, the uncooked dough might be the best part. I always leave a little bit in the bowl for us to enjoy. I like to top with a mini chocolate chips just to give a little bit more sweetness to this, and I find the mini ones work so much better because my son doesn't try to pick them out, but they really look so much like a brownie. Now, they don't taste completely like one, but they are still a really nice treat that my toddler enjoys. I'm freezing half of this batch to bring on the trip, and we'll have no trouble finishing the rest beforehand. They freeze really well, which is why I usually double the nut-based version, and I think I end up eating more than my boys. That looks
super yummy.
super yummy. Next up, sourdough discard crackers. These are such a great way to use up discard, instead of tossing it. And I collect mine in a container and make these when I have about 1 cup. I'll link the recipe, but it's super simple. Just a cup of discard, 4 tablespoons of room temp butter, which you have to remember to take out before, little salt, and all-purpose and whole wheat flour. You mix it all together until there's no visible butter.
I see no butter.
While my son tackled that, I got started on might be my kid's favorite cracker, graham crackers, which, I get. They're delicious. I love these because they taste almost like a cookie, but with a lot less sugar than most cookie recipes, and they're more nutritious thanks to the whole wheat flour. You cream the butter and brown sugar first, then mix in the dry ingredients, whole wheat flour, cinnamon, baking soda, and salt. But I had a situation here, this one, and so instead of adding the flour and then these wet ingredients, I added the wet ingredients first. And that's 3 tablespoons of milk, a 1/3 cup of honey, and a tablespoon of vanilla. Luckily, it didn't ruin a thing. They still turned out just as good as always, and just shows how forgiving most recipes really are. I split the dough in half and let it chill in the fridge for an hour. Same goes for the sourdough discard cracker dough. Chilling helps make it easier to roll out later. Well, okay, that got more chaotic than I was expecting. The library was closed, so my kids came home. Everyone was hungry too, but we finished it. I got a lot of it done, and now I'm gonna roll out the crackers, the sourdough, and the graham, get them baked, and then do some yogurt bark and some jam along the side. Thankfully, my husband washed all the dishes, so I'm just gonna put those away first. I love making my jam at home because I can really control the sweetness. I usually use about a half a cup of sugar plus the zest and juice of around a half a lemon with the frozen berries. It's super simple, more affordable, and tastes so delicious. Plus it's really easy to make while you're like doing other things in the kitchen. So I just melt the sugar in with a little bit of the lemon juice and lemon zest, and then put this whole 10-ounce bag of blueberries in and let it simmer for around 10 to 15 minutes. I start simmering it like this, but you have to keep your eye on it as it will start boiling more intensely the longer it cooks. I really thought I was filming this part, but you know it's ready when you can use a thermometer or you can do the plate test by spooning a bit on a plate and waiting a few seconds and then pushing your finger through it. If it wrinkles or doesn't feel like immediately back in, then it's done. Back to the graham crackers. They've been in the fridge for an hour, so now I just take the dough out and pat it into like a rectangle, dust it really generously with flour to prevent sticking, and roll it to about 1/8 of an inch thick. You just need to keep pressing the edges as you go to prevent it from cracking. There's something really therapeutic about scoring this dough. You don't want to cut it all the way through, just enough to make the cutting at the end of baking easier. I bake them at 150 for 12 minutes and then do need to cut them along these scores right away while they're still warm. I like having these for s'mores or just a snack, and they make the house smell so cozy and inviting. They remind me of Christmas, which I love even right in the middle of a heat wave. Plus they taste so much better than store-bought. There is really no comparison. While the graham crackers bake, I roll out the sourdough discard crackers. Making these two together is a great way to maximize kitchen time. This sourdough is pretty sticky, so I press it out by hand, kind of like in my hand, until it starts to tear, and then transfer it to a floured parchment paper and generously flour the top. Like, it doesn't dry it out and makes rolling so much easier to just put a lot of flour on there. After I'm done rolling it to pretty much as thin as I can get it, I brush it with olive oil, sprinkle salt, sesame seeds, or everything bagel seasoning. Here I'm doing sesame seeds. Then I cut it into like long rectangles, and then bake them at 350 for around 30 minutes. The recipe says 20 to 25, but it takes me usually more like 30 to get them to the crispiness I want. Alright, this one is by far the easiest. It's just a yogurt bark. I'm going to do one with some peanut butter, honey, and chocolate, and then another super easy one with the yogurt and just some of the jam that I just made that I dollop along. This is some homemade Greek yogurt that I made in another video. I'll link. So easy, so delicious, and saves you money. This was the last of my very large Costco peanut butter, so it didn't have very much oil left, which made the mixing a bit harder. So make sure you use creamy peanut butter with about 1/3 cup of honey and about 1 cup of yogurt. Then just spread it out into a large rectangle and add the chocolate. Why is this part so therapeutic? It just feels so nice to do this. But you can also add dried fruit, graham crackers, bananas, or really anything you'd like on top of this. I did some of the graham crackers I made. All of this mixing and baking made me really hungry, so it was time for a snack. It's seriously so good. You gotta try it. It was always nice when a meal was made for me, which I still do appreciate that. But there's something about when you've made it and here made every single ingredient that makes it taste so good. The sourdough crackers are done. For the next batch, I just mix in the jam and dollop it onto the pan, and it goes into the freezer for an hour or two. I keep a bowl of these in the freezer so my little guy can easily grab a healthy protein-packed treat whenever he wants it. It's not ice cream, but you know, it's close, so it's a win for both him and me. Plus, I reach for them often if I just want something a little sweet after dinner too. Pick one?
What are those?
These are different ones. You gotta tell me which one you like the best.
Yellow button?
Which one's best?
Two.
Both?
Yeah. Both.
Ending on another super quick, simple snack that we have all the time that's actually not pre-made, smoothies. I buy organic frozen fruit from Costco. This one even had greens in it. And I always add a banana. It's always just better with a banana. Add the banana. And I usually blend with milk, but this time I had some leftover whey from making yogurt. It adds probiotics and packs extra vitamins and minerals per serving. Both kids love hearing the blender run and appreciate a cold snack in the summer heat. Whatever's left from these smoothies gets poured into some small popsicle molds, which I feel like they are enjoying practically every day now. It's such a healthy option for them to just be able to grab if they want something sweet after lunch or dinner. I found it hard to find zero additive popsicles at the store, and they are just all really expensive now and don't have the same nutritional benefits as these. I always try to have these on hand in the summer. We've actually eaten so many of these that I've lost most of the popsicle sticks by now. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you'll subscribe to join along for more family meal and motherhood moments. I really appreciate you.